Can you tell me exactly what happened tonight?
Tonight? Yes. Okay, it all started. I know that we were on Facebook, and I think this might have been what triggered it. He saw a bunch of bad comments from somebody named Marion, putting that, that I'm a witch and a reptile. And I think when he saw it, he got really angry and he commented like a whole bunch of comments. And I could tell him, look, just forget the whole thing. Don't worry about it. And afterwards, I don't know. After that, I think that might have been what triggered him to be this way. But then he's like, come on, let's go to the bar and, have a little bit of fun. And he seemed normal. We had like one or two drinks and everything was well. Okay. And then when we came home, he goes, I need to practice shooting my gun. Come walk with me into the woods. So he took his gun, he grabbed it, he loaded it, he walked into the woods, he fired a few rounds. He goes, do you want to fire one? And I'm like, no, that's okay. So then, we walked back into the house. All of a sudden, he took the gun and started putting it into my hand. He goes, here, take it, point it at me. Point it. He just starts grabbing it, saying, he put it in my hand, and he goes, point it at me and shoot it right now. That's when it went off, right there. And the thing is, ever since he, there's a woman named Sherry Schreiner, and he used to be close friends with her, and he used to follow her. He was really good friends with her. She runs a religious cult, some type of weird religious cult. And she's on Facebook, and she talks about like aliens and stuff.
Are either one of you two in a cult?
Not anymore. See, we were both friends with her, but then one day out of the blue, she just turned on us. When me and him got together, she started turning on both of us.
What cult was it? Is there a name for that cult?
No, they call themselves Oregon Warriors.
Oregon?
Oregon Warriors, yes.
Like the state of Oregon?
Or not just Oregon, Orgone. He just starts putting it in my hand and he's pointing it at his direction. He just goes, he placed it in there and he pointed at himself and goes, here, shoot it right now. And it just went off.
So where was he when he was saying that?
In our house, right?
Where in the house? On the bed?
We were beside the bed. We were standing there.
Standing up?
Yeah, we were standing up.
Standing by the bed. Did it go off by accident or?
It went off on accident. I was actually trying to let go. He was telling me, I want you to point this,
How far would you say the gun was from him when it went off?
Maybe this far.
Was it? Okay. So the gun from his forehead was about that far?
Yeah. Let's see. She was here with me. I miss
you. I like I said before, I think you're a good person, but there's more to this that you're still not telling me. It's not matching with what's over there. Not matching with what's at the scene. Okay, so part of what we found over the scene is he wasn't standing when you pulled the trigger. He was sitting on the floor next to the bed.
Sitting on the floor.
It looks like he was sitting on the floor with his back against the bed.
No, he wasn't. I'm confused. He was not on the bed. He was clearly standing.
Okay. It looks to me like you did this on purpose.
No, I promise.
And on purpose doesn't mean that like you thought about this in the morning and you thought this is going to happen, but it was just a spur of the moment thing. You were mad, you did this, and now you're sorry about it. Is that possible?
I don't know. I remember him standing up. He placed the gun in my hand.
That doesn't match. He's sitting on the ground, you put it right against his head, you pull the trigger. That's
He
what
was
matches.
sitting on the ground?
Yes. And I understand why your mind is trying to change it, but in reality, you know what happened. And now, like, if you want me to believe you're sorry about this, you have to tell the exact facts. Right? You did this on purpose.
I would never shoot him on purpose, but now I think it's possible he could have been sitting on the ground. You know, everything just happened so fast.
But see how many times you've changed the story already with me. Now, like, it's easier to tell it right the first time than to change it a couple times. So he's sitting on the ground, right? Now you remember that?
I think it's possible, but I don't know. I remembered him standing, but it's possible that he could have been sitting on the ground.
And you put it against his head and you pulled the trigger. It wasn't an accident. I'm not saying you wanted to do it, but it wasn't an accident. You did it on purpose, right?
Well, I didn't mean to do it on purpose.
I'm not saying you meant to. I'm not saying what you meant to do. I'm just saying what actually happened. And that is you put it at his head and you pulled the trigger on purpose. Right?
I don't know. It could have been this far.
The gun was probably touching his
I
head,
would
right?
imagine the gun was almost touching his forehead if it was not pressed against his forehead.
I think it was pressed against his forehead. I think you pulled it on purpose. In fact, I know that you pulled it on purpose. I don't think that you were planning this, but I think that's exactly what happened, correct?
It might, yes, that could be right.
Can you clear that up for me, just so I understand? At first, you said he wanted you to shoot him.
Yeah, I did say that. I think he did say something like that. He said, "Here, I want you to." He just put it in my hand. He put it there, and he said, "Here, I want you to shoot this gun." I think from there it did accidentally go off when he put it in my hand. I didn't think it was going to hit him.
Could you stand up and show me what you mean? Because it'll help me. So if, we'll say this wall is the edge of the bed, where is he and where are you?
I guess he would have been here, and then I would have been here. You know, he handed me the gun. He said,
Right.
point it, and I think the second I did that, yeah, I shot it and went off.
Okay. So you're holding it down here. That means he was sitting. You remember now that he was sitting on the ground?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
And you remember if he was sitting against that wall, like that wall was the bed, how close would you have been to him?
I think I was a little bit closer to him. I could have been like maybe right here.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
And so show me with your hands how you would have been holding the gun.
he put it in my hand, and then I went like that.
So where would his head have been at this point? About here or right next to it? Because I want you to remember. It seems like you're remembering now what happened.
Yeah.
So you show me.
I would think it was right here.
So right next to his head, like if your finger, make your finger the barrel of the gun.
Yeah.
Show me with where his head would be.
His head would be like around here. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Right here.
Okay. So you put the gun right up to his head.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then pulled the trigger, right?
Yeah.
A lot of what you're telling me is a lie, and I know that. So kind of this is your last chance to tell me
I don't know. What should I say?
the truth.